We are in Valencia region and at the Fontestat farm, and I'd like to introduce these two gentlemen. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Fede Izquierdo. I am an agronomist that works in this company in Fontestad.
I'm Camilo Garcés. I'm an agronomist that works in Ioland.
El nombre?
Camilo Garcés, CEO de Ioland Fitogare.
Okay, now please explain to us what kind of management do you do for these ori trees that are here? Right from flowering, you said you start. What do you look for? What do you do?
Me? So, first of all, we have to be careful during the critical period. We think it's in the set fruit, the fruit set. So in this moment is the most important moment to take care of the fruit. So what we do is at the beginning, years ago, we did other things that we don't do now. So now what we are doing is reduce fertilizer and irrigation, but not so much as at the beginning. So it's not really a big reduction, okay? And use some products to avoid the fruit set, okay?
So with the oris, you explained before that from flowering to fruit set, to try and get more fruit, you reduce the water and you reduce the fertilizer, but not as much as what you did before. You learned that 50% might be too much, and around maybe 25, not now, maybe 25% during this period you reduce.
And it depends on the levels that we have of humidity, the quantity of flowers that you have, and it's because of this we have this device that you have behind you.
Yes, and you can see here they have a water irrigation sensing monitor, and they actually use, there's actually an it's actually an Australian EnviroProbe that they use to monitor the soil humidity, and you use that to help you judge about the irrigation during fruit set. So when the trees flower, what do you look for when the trees are flowering? What makes you think, oh, this is too much or this is too little? How does that affect you with the flowering? Maybe you'd like to answer that question.
Well, first of all, we have to check related with the fruit size. From the canopy size, we have to check that the number of flowers, on average, might be too high for the leaves that we have. So, in order to establish a good strategy to control the future fruit size, we have to start implementing different applications of different products, no? Such as FenChip or GA.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's just say that the fruit starts setting and the fruit are getting around the 10 to 15 millimeters in diameter. What then do you start thinking? What do you look for, and what then do you start thinking about?
Well, once we see the fruits that are going to stay in the fruit, we have to count them, and depending on the number of fruits that we get regarding the size of the canopy, we decide whether to do a fruit thinning or a strategy or a fruit size strategy. So, and in some cases we might look for a combination from both. So we count the number of fruits and we measured each the size of the fruits to check which percentage of each size we have. So with that we decide to apply different products and each moment.
And I believe you said in about a hectare of orange citrus, you might measure 2 trees. You might count the fruit in 2 whole trees, and you'll use some sort of white marker. So when you count the fruit, you don't count them, and you count all the fruit, and then you measure 100 fruit per tree of a few trees. Yeah. Maybe 2 trees, you measure the fruit size 100 fruit.
Exactly. So it's important to do a good assessment first of the plot, because if it's homogeneous, with 2 trees per hectare would be enough, and we count with, as you say, with a marker to avoid repeating fruits. And later, with measuring 100 fruits would be enough, because we have seen that measuring more, the average number is it's not changing. So
And also with this specifically for the oris, you found that too much vigorous growth during the fruit set period is not good, which is where the Fenjib auxins help to reduce the new growth to help set more fruit. So that's important for the oris not to encourage too much growth during the small fruit set, the size.
Yes, during the critical period, it's important. It's important to avoid this fruit set, of course, using this kind of products and strategies to avoid the fruit set.
Fruit set. So reducing flush growth. Now we're looking at these trees and they're very well pruned. There's very little dead wood inside that was explained. So when would you be pruning these trees?
The main pruning, we do it as soon as we can after the harvest. And then we can combine with other the pruning later. When we have the fruit, when we are sure that we have the fruit that we want, possibly end of August, September. If we have too much fruit or we think that trees need
Water shoots?
for example,
Yes.
we do another. It's like two prunings or
Two
one
prunings.
one mandatory and the other is
Is it an extra pruning just in case there's water shoots or there's excess fruit? This is the time to remove it. And how much would you spend per tree in euros approximately to prune the trees approximately?
well, it depends on the fruit size, but and the number of cuts that we have to do. So in this case, for example, we look for doing many small cuts around the canopy to allow the light come in. So on average, how much?
is more or less 2.5 euros per tree. But it could be 800 euros per hectare, between 800 and 1,000 euros per hectare.
This is a tree with a large chunk taken out of the side just to give us a bit of a visual of what's happening here. You can see there's a very much open structure, very clean inside, not much deadwood in the tree at all, and there's spacing of limbs to give enough room. Now they did say that when they come back in after harvest, they will thin out this canopy. A lot of these branches in here, they'll take at least 2 of those branches there to create these windows. They like to create windows in the side of the tree and also rejuvenate the canopy by taking out the older branches in favour of the younger ones.
Here we go, we've got some ori. Once again, when I stand up, my hand's up in the air. Trees aren't over about 2 metres tall, maybe 2.5. And similar pruning that we've seen so far. Middles are opened out and we've got these layered windows in the side. It's really nice crop on these.